Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Arch Assessment. This is Arch, and along with me, I have CJack of CJack Productions. How you doing, sir?
Doing all right, my man. Doing all right.
Yeah, so we are here to talk about the first entry, if you will, into the DCU James Gunn led cinematic universe, which is Superman. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Spoilers involved, of course. It's been 2 weeks.
Of course.
So we're going to talk about our takes on it. We're just going to go over the whole movie, the standout parts, obviously, what we liked, what we may have not liked, et cetera, and just our concluding thoughts and whatnot. So overall, starting in the beginning, overall, CJ, what was your personal take on this movie overall?
Overall, on the take, it was a fun ride. You know, much like the Fantastic Four movie. We'll discuss that later. But it was fun. There was a lot of my expectations were low because how many times have we been through this reset? But it's James Gunn, nonetheless. Yeah. So my hopes were countered by his productivity, and rightfully so.
Yeah, for me personally, I enjoyed it. Of course, I saw it again the second time yesterday with my sister and my mom, because mom hasn't seen it yet. So she wanted to make a point to go check it out because I wouldn't say she's the biggest James Gunn fan per se, but she does love Guardians of the Galaxy. However, she didn't like the Suicide Squad, so it's hit or miss.
She did or did not?
She did not like the Suicide Squad.
What?
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. But she loves Guardians of the Galaxy to death, though, for some reason. So he's strong. But with that being said, long story short, I enjoyed this immensely. It's obviously a far cry from the tone of the Zack Snyder, Henry Cavill, Man of Steel era. So I had fun with it. You know what I'm saying? So I like what James Gunn brought to the table. I like the characters. I like the new characters he introduced in here that we haven't seen before, like Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, and so forth. So we'll just start at the very beginning. So I like the tone of the very beginning of this with the prelude talking about the first metahumans appeared 300 years ago. Superman announced himself 3 years ago. He just fought his first battle of 3 hours ago, and 3 minutes ago he just lost his first battle. To me, I saw that as James Gunn's like, okay, let's just cut through the hoopla. We know the origin story. We don't need to go over this 1,000 times. Let's just get straight to the point. That's the tone I felt from James Gunn.
Go ahead. You know, I want to share that sentiment with you. I seen this in Fantastic Four. They did the exact same thing. It's a race. It's a race because they was like, hey, they were hit with cosmic rays and blah blah blah. But saying on this, James Gunn treated it like 300 years ago. You know those subtitles before you see like a war movie or something. Yeah, I was just making a point.
Yeah, that was the impression I got. I was like, look, we're not doing this origin stuff. Let's just get to it. And the movie started out with him just like getting stomped out by the Hammer of Bolivia to the point where he's got some internal damage, and we get to see Crypto come to the rescue. And bless his heart, you know, he drags him to the Fortress of Solitude. So I like that whole opening scene of the robots, like number 4 and all them carrying him over and get him a healthy ray of sunlight. So sun radiation from the yellow sun. And I liked how they did Bradley Cooper, and I'm not familiar with the other actors that played Jor-El.
The biological parents. Yeah,
the biological parents. So I liked how they presented that. That was interesting. So you notice James Gunn always works with the majority of most of the same actors. You know, Bradley Cooper voiced Rocket Raccoon, obviously. So, and I believe Alan Tudyk, if you're not familiar with him, he voiced one of the robots. Michael Rooker voiced one of the robots as well. That was Yondu from Guardians, Savant from the Suicide Squad. So he works with a lot of the same people mostly for the most part. Sure. What did you think of the whole thing about him only at 83% and he's trying to get back out there? And what did you think of that whole intro scene of him? The engineers looking for him for Lex Luthor. She's trying to scout where the Fortress of Solitude is located. And
I liked how the whole movie was basically, think of it like Star Wars, the original franchise. They just start off in the action. Superman's already taking blows. He's at 20%. He lost 20% in combat. This is where the story should start. And I respect it. And I like the idea that he has some vulnerability. He wasn't nerfed to death, as the internet calls it, but he was still Superman.
Yeah. So, like a lot of people were complaining about this version of Superman being weak and he's getting stomped out, but we've seen him in different iterations losing and taking a beating. So it's not like every hero has to take a beating at some point. You know what I'm saying? So only to rise and bounce back up again.
Agreed.
So I don't know why people were so up in arms about that. I thought that was kind of weird to have that.
I agree with you. No, you'd be surprised. A lot of internet comments, Arch, is saying that, and I'm like, you show me one Superman film, even down to the Christopher Reeves franchise. He took a hell of a pounding from Solar, from Superman 2, and the thing of the matter is, I had a problem with it up until the end, where we find out, spoiler alert, that the Ultraman was biogenically engineered to be like Superman. So that makes sense why he was taking such a beating. You know, I mean, what more do people want? Yeah.
Yeah. So he gets back out there, he's like, and the robots say an interesting point. He's like, you're only at 83%. You lost at him at 100%. But it was urgent. The people needed him. He has to go out there. And I like the whole intro where it shows him flying through, and then they emphasize the symbol on his chest, and you get the intro credits, yada 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 yada. So I like that part. And then he's getting back out there again, trying to fight the hammer of Berivia, as we call it, which we find out is just actually Ultraman in a suit. Mm-hmm. And they talked about Superman invading, interfering with the conflict between those two countries, Baravia and Johornpur.
Johornpur, but that's the only problem I've had with the whole movie. Maybe because I'm an Unlimited fan. That flag was definitely a Kaznian fan. A Kaznia is supposed to be the DC version of Iraq. And as for the opening title, I loved how the letters were. Definitely just like the 80s Superman. But going where you're coming from.
Yeah, so I liked how they talked about that, and they didn't show him doing it, but they talk about it like in the past, like it's something that just recently happened. And when he got knocked down and that guy came up to help him up, there's like, maybe you shouldn't have did what you did, Superman. So I just thought that was an interesting touch they put on that. And then we find out that the message that Kal-El got from his parents is half damaged because he doesn't hear the second half of the part. He only knows the first part. So he just rolled with that. And then we cut to him as Clark Kent. The only critique I have this movie is I wish we would have saw a little bit more Clark Kent as well. We only got a little bit of Clark Kent, in my opinion.
I was pleased because the debate that him and Lois had, and mind you, they were lovers already, which I loved. They were no subterfuge.
Just started dating a few months. Yeah.
Right. They just went right into it. That's from a political standpoint, you come here interfering with international policies, but you'll come over here representing America. But Superman's stance is like, no, I represent me. Yes, but for America's interests. And it's a good debate there. And they never came to a conclusion on that. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were both right. I think Superman has some valid points. Like, look, I'm just trying to do right. I didn't have time to consult with other people because lives were on the line. I had to act fast. I do get what Lois is saying though, because she's saying like, whether you admit it or not, you were acting on behalf of such and such. You were acting on behalf of America, whether you realize it or not. Whether you realize it or not, you may have made things more complicated than they had to be, and then this could blow back on us. So she was just trying to do it from a neutral, objective standpoint. But I also felt where Superman was saying too, though. So it's like, hey, look, I didn't have time to consult or talk to other people. People were going to die if I didn't intervene right away. There were no casualties. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, but Arch, isn't the whole point of being a superhero is that you don't go through all the protocols? You do your thing as a vigilante. Whether people know it or not, Superman is a vigilante. The whole point of being a hero is a super vigilante. So
that was the whole point of Captain America Civil War too, though.
Yeah, exactly. That, in fact, the movie was based on that. Good point.
It's like whether or not we should have protocols in place before we do anything. So that's, not to go down that rabbit hole, but yeah, so that was a whole nother thing. And I'm glad we got to see got a cameo from our boy Peacemaker. He was like trying to, yeah, that was funny.
Him, if all people said, and I quote, I've always thought he was kind of mentally unstable. Him calling somebody else. Hello, pot.
Yeah, because Peacemaker is clearly the picture of mental stability and mental health. Obviously. But yeah, so I thought that was a nice touch. So I'm liking where how this DCU is forming. The other thing is, what else was there? Apparently Jimmy Olsen's got Riz, as these new kids call it.
Yeah, because his inside mole, she's bad, not my taste, but she's bad. And
Luther's
yeah, and she saved the day. Like, who would ever thought a background selfie can help a plot? But go ahead. Yeah, you're on it.
Yeah. So, but I like that whole thing. But do you think, like, the circle back on Lois and Clark? I thought Lois was kind of foul, saying, "Oh, I never thought this would work out. I knew this wouldn't work out." I thought that was kind of jacked up.
It was needed. It was messed up, but it's needed because she realized later down the road, looking at her parents, and even down to the poster with that punk rock group, like they're not a punk rock group, and Lois was actually in Clark's room. She realized, like, you know what? They were a punk rock group. I think I'm just like Thanos. I think I judged you too harshly. You know?
I'm talking about when they were having that argument about the interview.
Right? Oh no, that's what I'm talking about. And before she was like,
I thought it was wrong how she had a back turn. I was like, "Oh, I knew this wasn't going to work out." And he's just like, "Wait, what is that supposed to mean?"
Because here's the thing. Even though she said, "Okay, all right, I'll talk about that." Even though she said, "Clark, these are the questions." It's like being a lawyer being prepped. Clark, these are the questions people are going to ask you. I have to be hard on you. But after they were done, then she said what she said after the tape recorder. I knew this wouldn't work. And Clark goes, "No, repeat that again. The tape recorder's off. What do you mean this wasn't going to work?" That was very hard.
Are you talking about the interview or the relationship?
Technically both. Because
I'm talking about the relationship.
The relationship, yeah. But no, she said that after the interview, she hit the stop button, went to the kitchen. She's like, I knew this wasn't going to work, because she got frustrated and grabbed everything, went in the kitchen.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm saying I think that was kind of foul on her end. That's
what it is. Oh, no, it is. No, it is. That's why Clark, I'm glad he represented. He was like, no, let's go back to that. Let's go back to that. What do you mean this wasn't going to work?
I came in here and I'm cooking you breakfast, and this is where we going, really?
That part. Hey, I'm speaking of Clark, one last tidbit. Because Guy Gardner mentioned it, or was it somebody said, oh, he has glasses that deflect your identity. That's new.
Oh, no, that was when they were kissing. When they first saw each other, they were kissing.
Oh, okay.
And Lois commented to Clark and said, the people, like, the glasses thing is only going to fool people so long.
True. That's true.
I think that's where you're drawing from.
It is, yeah. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so I thought that was like, I thought Lois was kind of foul for that.
She is.
But anyway, and then fast forward, I liked Nicholas Holt's take on Lex Luthor. I'm going to go ahead and say I think this is the best Lex Luthor we've had.
It's balanced, yes, because it's balanced. It gives me, if Gene Hackman and the guy from he was in the trailer too, by the way. Now You See Me,
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, if those two had a baby, it would be this Lex Luthor. That's a bye-bye guy.
I liked his performance and all. Like, I liked his meeting with all the other General Flagg and all those other guys trying to propose certain things, certain protocols in place to handle Superman. So
and
in the metahuman. So I liked that scene right there, because I was like, okay, this guy's got Lex Luthor down to a science. His mannerisms, the way he talks, the way he carries himself. This is the same guy who played the Beast in the X-Men First Class films with Fassbender and McAvoy. Same guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He can be a bad guy. He can be a bad guy. I approve. I have no
question about this guy is he was also, I don't know if you saw that movie that came out last Christmas, Nosferatu. Totally different character than Lex Luthor.
I need to watch that.
Yeah, but great actor. So to me, Nicholas Hoult was one of the standouts of this movie as far as performance-wise goes.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was one of the standout performances personally myself. And then what else? Lois Lane. They unleashed the Kaiju on Metropolis. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because they Lex Luthor wanted to circle back on the Fortress of Solitude. They go back out there because we don't know it yet at the time, but Lex Luthor had Ultraman, who's we find out later is a clone of Superman. He has his DNA, and that's how they were able to get in the Fortress of Solitude. And that's when he was going around, looking around, trying to find something, and that's when the engineer was able to
hack his computer,
hack the computer per se, and get that message and find out what the whole message was. So I thought that was interesting. And then fast forward, then we see the Kaiju unleashed, and it's taking over, and it's messing up Metropolis, and this is where we get introduced to the Justice Gang.
Yeah. Yeah, and because even the engineer was like, what if Blue Boy comes back? I made an interference. And it did, Mr. Terrific and the Justice Gang, yeah.
So we got Guy Gardner, Hot Girl, and Mr. Terrific. So I like that whole scene too. So Superman was trying to figure out a way to fight that thing without killing it. And in my opinion, Justice Gang was being a little too reckless.
Obviously. Yeah, because it's always an easier way, man. And that's, you know what? Yeah, there's always an easier way. And they, of course, anesthetized him from the inside without cutting off a limb or anything. But the eyes and everything, and they're working it in real time. There was no real plan. So
yeah, Superman was trying to figure out a way to neutralize it without killing it, and the Justice Gang didn't care about that. Terrific shot his T-spheres inside of it, and I think Guy Gardner, if I remember right, I think he dealt the killing blow. If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember.
No, Mr. Terrific had some kind of pills. It put him out, but Gardner was poking his eyes out for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I think they could have been more careful about that. I think they were a little reckless in their approach, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And then that's when we find out that the leak happens, or like where we find out Lex Luthor leaks the whole video surveillance of Jor-El and Superman's parents, and what the whole message was. So of course Superman gets backlash about that. So what did you think about that whole scene?
A typical Lex Luthor game, because he prides on himself, even to the end of the film. But here in a moment, he prides himself like, I'm going to outsmart you. You may be more powerful alien. Even with the debate, it's all relative. He's like, okay. He's like, United States government, I want you to give, what's the name of that organization? It's a dumb name. Anyway, Lex was representing, whatever. It's not Cadmus, but whatever. Anyway, I want you to give me green light, full access to deal with the Superman threat. Well, Lex, with all respect, you're a United States citizen. You still have to follow what we do. You can't just go half-cocked to go after him. What's the difference? Okay, I got you. I'll find you your proof, which is the engineer you're talking about. The film, the only thing I did not like is that the Jor-El and his wife had negative intentions towards Earth in the first place. But it works.
I think that's a new thing. I don't remember that being in the comics.
No, it was never the intention. Never the intention, because his parents were good. His biological parents are good, and his Earth parents are definitely good, which makes him the perfect heart of any team, right? Mm-hmm. So, but it's an interesting twist for Lex Luthor to use as an edge. Remember, Lex is like Batman; he uses any strategic advantage, and he turned the people against him. So I allowed it barely, but yeah. And then the fact that Superman in the beginning couldn't even figure correlating his message, but the engineer was. It's like, oh, this is gold. I think you're going to like this, Lex, and the rest
Yeah. And then that's when even the Justice Gang confronts Superman in the building, like, yo, what was that about? And I like what Guy Gardner's point out. It's like, hey, if this is true, you're the very guy I was sworn to, I took an oath to protect the Earth from.
Right.
So I thought that was an interesting point on Guy Gardner's part. And then Mr. Terrific just confirms, like, hey, no, that message is authentic, so.
Yeah. And that did not help Superman's image at all. It's like, so where did he get this from? And that's what the light bulb hit, literally. He practically teleported back to the Fortress of Solitude.
He flew real quick back to the Fortress of Solitude and found out it's been infiltrated.
Yeah.
So he figured that out. So that was interesting. And then he goes back, and I like that scene between him and Lois when he's back in his own apartment. And then you see the Justice Gang fighting the imp
in the background. Yeah,
like that is such a James Gunn thing to do.
Of course, that's so Guardian Galaxy. You can't tell me that's not. Yeah. And I want to point out that same scene is when everybody thought it was going to be Brainiac. Completely wrong. But yeah, nice job, Gunn. The poster when he's put on his boots and you see like a green light. Yeah. So she was like, they're just having this conversation, like, okay, it's just a planet blowing up, whatever. And it was like some intergalactic imp. That was Miss. Oh, I can never get his name right.
It was an imp.
The imp, whatever. Yeah. Miss Pixie's imp, whatever. And they were having a talk, and she was like, "What are you gonna do?" Like, I have to turn myself in. And I think that's
his main reason was he's trying to find out where crypto was. Remember?
He had no choice. The only way to do that is to turn himself in. He took his damn. Oh yeah, he took his damn dog. Him losing his temper.
Remember he busted in his office, demanding to know where crypto was.
I think it
and Luthor was trying to play head games with him, like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then as soon as he's sipping his coffee, he mumbles something kind of slick. And
yeah, where's my coffee cup?
But
yeah,
here's the part I kind of critiqued about that. Superman should have heard that since he's got super hearing.
I agree. He's like, what was that? What was that? You heard that, right? And then Lex was like, typical, hey, administration, like, that's right. I forgot her name. That's right, Candace. Go ahead and keep recording all this. Let the world see. He literally threw his. I'm surprised he didn't go out the window. He threw looked like $1,000 desk. He's like, where's crypto? He was like, oh, what did you say? And that's what you were talking about. Did not help. Did not help.
Yeah. But I like that scene between Clark and Lois when they were talking, and Clark's opinion is like, "Hey, I didn't know about the message. That's not my intentions." And I like that. It was a heartfelt moment, but it was just kind of funny how you see the imp fight in the background.
Yeah,
I was like, "Yeah, this is very James Gunny."
He had to. You saw the terrific spheres, and then you saw the beam from Guy. Yeah, it was.
You saw the Green Lantern constructs.
Yeah,
like, okay, that's funny. But I liked how he said. I liked how he talking about like, well, maybe being kind is the real punk rock, you know. And they were talking about she's kind of more of a cynic and a skeptic, and he's more of an optimist. He sees the beauty in people even when he shouldn't. And I liked how he touched on and said, well, maybe that's the real punk rock. And they were just talking about the different types of bands they like and all that. So
that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, so I like that whole touch. And he said he was going to turn himself in. And because his main motivation, and I thought it was a funny thing, is like he's not a good dog, but he's mine. And I got to find out where he's at. Yeah, so I liked what they did with that. And then, of course, he turned himself saying he's already getting hemmed up by Ultraman. And he turns himself in, and he goes into that pocket universe, and this is where we get introduced to Metamorpho. And he can turn his hands into kryptonite. I liked how they played that, how they spent that. And what did you think of that whole pocket universe scene?
Interesting take. It explains how Luthor was getting across back and forth from the universe. They need to incorporate that more in oncoming films, but interesting. And of course, Lex has the ability, because I forgot what rank he is, second or third smartest person in that universe. Of course, I'm not surprised.
They say Mr. Terrific is the third.
Yeah, I agree.
To my understanding, I think Lex is second, and I think Bruce Wayne is the first.
Yeah, I keep hearing that shit. Yeah,
if I remember right.
Let us know in the comments. But no, I liked it, and Lex being Lex, Betty, his ex-girlfriend, his publicist, Metamorpho, all just.
What'd you think about the monkeys trolling?
The typewriters. He was like, "You ever wonder why we got so much negative publicity on you?" And it was just brainwashed monkeys on 1,000 typewriters. That's a writer's thing. Come on, that's a screaming gun.
Yeah.
And Superman was like this. Oh. Of course, the negative plus. Yeah.
When he was already being kryptonite out, he was already being like down from the kryptonite. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. And what'd you think about this? Was the most heartbreaking scene though, where he's down bad from the kryptonite because he's stuck in that room, he can't get out. And then he brought that guy from earlier in the movie, Lex did. He said he played Russian roulette with him.
Oh, the huge Superman sympathizer.
The falafel guy.
The falafel guy, yeah. And that was heartbreaking because it was like, Lex, I can't give you what you don't know. Well, let's go ahead and Lex, you know what I'm saying? He's like a layman. He doesn't know. You don't make an interrogation with Russian roulette. And second shot, he was like, oh. Even Lex was like, oh, that ended way faster than I wanted to. Just in time, too, because he asked about Clark's parents. No lower leverage.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Superman would have honestly gave them up in order to save that man. But we'll never know.
Yeah, but that was the real heartbreaking stuff. And that's what made Metamorpho change his mind. I was like, hey, you said you could save my son, right? And I liked how he improv and said instead of making an actual son, he did like a pulsar, a quasar or something like that.
A pulsar, an artificial sun. He said, I don't have the ability in my head to, he's new to his powers too. That's what I like about this. Everybody's new to their powers. We're not getting 52 universe, ultra strong Superman. We're getting like, he's fresh out of the academy. He's doing his thing like the Batman, brand new to the game, but staying on topic. Yeah, Metamorpho was like, okay, I can do this. I can simulate something and restore some of his power left. I would say about 50% of it.
Yeah, and so that ended up working. He was able to get his get across from the hall or
Mm-hmm.
from across. He was able to rescue his baby, and Superman was strong enough to then get Crypto out. So that was good. And what
That
did you
was
think about that? Oh, and before we get ahead of ourselves, what did you think about Lois going over to the Justice Hall trying to convince Guy Gardner, Hot Girl, and Mr. Terrific to come help? What did you think of that scene?
that scene. And people forget Lois is an investigative reporter, and she found out like, dude,
Keyword being investigative.
right, exactly. Like she's like 2 + 2 is equal triangle. Like this doesn't make any sense. So she came to him like, hey, so I need you guys' help to break into not Lex Corp. Well, technically it is Lex Corp. It's called something else in this universe. But Lex Corp, I need to figure out where they put Superman. And yeah, Hawk Girl, I was surprised. Guy, I'm not surprised about. He's always been a dick. Hawk Girl, I'm a little surprised. Like I know she's new at this. Like, hey, he ran so, and she went on reading her paper. And Mr. Terrific was like, all right, you know what, dude? Only because I like mysteries. And besides, his T-spheres, he planted nanites on them. He's like, yeah, there's nanites on all my friends. I do that all the time. But only because of nanites.
Remember how they looked at each other like,
yeah, they're like, yeah, I do that to all my friends. And they look at it, yeah, this is look at me. And this is
Guy
and Hawk are like, is he joking or what? Yeah. So he said, Terrific was like, hey, I'm only doing this to 2 reasons. One, I like a good mystery, and to piss off Guy. Yeah, just to piss him off, right?
Yeah. But I liked how that turned out. And then, what did you think about the whole thing about the garage door opening up slow for the ship?
It fits, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people in the theater had a problem with it. I didn't. Terrific's T's car can fly and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. He's second smartest. They just bought the building. The guy was literally etching the Hall of Justice when we saw the scene, James. Of course, stuff still didn't work. But
it wasn't up to date yet.
It wasn't up to code or up to date, yeah. And even she's like, so you can make a flying car, but you can't. I know what you're gonna say. I haven't got around to it.
Yeah, but I like that ship. And what do you think of him and Lois showing up? What did you think of that whole fight sequence?
He stole the show. Honestly, he's good to have a standalone film. Just like yourself, I'm looking to research. I know about him, his PhDs and everything, but who's his number one-on-one protagonist? You know what I mean? Like I know he's a member of the Justice League, but you know what I'm saying? He had to have some kind of personal story.
I don't know if I would go as far to say as Mr. Terrific needs his own solo movie. If anything, at best, maybe a series, maybe.
You know what? I agree with that.
Maybe a series, but I don't know about a full-blown movie yet. I don't know how
he can't hold his own. No, not movie-wise. I agree with you. I retract my case.
He's a hell of a secondary character. I wouldn't mind seeing a spin-off show, like a series of him on HBO Max or something like that. I'd be down for that.
I can live with that. I can live with that.
But I like the way they shot that from Lois's perspective. When he was handling those people at the beach right before they got to the pocket universe.
With the T-spheres. And there's a story behind that. So they finally get in, right? Sorry, but this is what I'm fresh in my Yeah. So he's handling them with the T-spheres. Keep that in mind, folks. The T-spheres. Lois is in a protective force field. Mr. Terrific got semi-hands. You know, he's doing his own thing. So he breaks through Lex's interdimensional pocket, whatever. He's like, okay, I got to make this quick. I can't do this for long. And, well, can't you have one of your T... She said, your T circles go across? Woman, okay, first of all, a circle is only one-dimensional. These are spheres. They're three-dimensional. Okay, sorry. Yikes.
All right, all right, Jesus.
Yeah, that was funny as hell to me. It's true.
But, the only critique I have about that performance is, to my understanding, Mr. Terrific in the comics, from as far as I know, he's a little more stoic than that. He doesn't get all bent out of shape over certain comments, as far as I know, unless you know something I don't.
No, that's what my research came up. He's calm and collective, you know, all the PhDs, come on. I didn't like the whole jive turkey attitude, but it grew on me. I ran with it.
I didn't know how I was going to take that. Before I even saw the movie, I saw clips of him talking like that. That blaxploitation talk, or whatever you want to call it, for lack of a better term.
Exploitation, yeah.
I don't know. It's just like just out of the context, it didn't look right. It sat right with me. But when I saw the actual movie, I wasn't as bothered by it.
And maybe I'm biased from the cartoon because he's well, like you and I. He's well. He holds himself well. He can speak well. You know what I'm saying? He's not a stereotype. Blaxploitation is the proper word. But go ahead. Yeah, I agree.
But anyway, I liked how they get in there and they can only stay for so long. and Superman's trying to break out, but he's getting a little distracted by some of the raptors, and he's trying to hold on to Metamorpho's baby while he's doing this, and he almost got sucked into the black hole. And there was a shot in there that was very reminiscent of Guardians of the Galaxy when they almost get sucked by the black hole, but he captures Crypto. Superman does, and he blows his super breath to pull him back. And
Clever.
He shot of him from behind. I was like, that is very Guardians of the Galaxy-esque.
Didn't Quinn have that problem when he was freezing up when he went to go save? Who is he trying to save?
You're talking about Quill?
Quill, yeah. Quill that's right.
There was a similar shot of Quill, and seeing that particular shot took me back to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Agreed.
Yeah. So I like that whole thing, and I like that they finally got out. They finally got out of the pocket universe. Not just Superman, but Superman, Crypto, Metamorpho, and his baby son. So I like that they finally got out, but Superman was still down bad from kryptonite poisoning. So he had to go and recover, and Mr. Terrific tells Lois to take his ship and just take him back and so he can recover for a couple of days. And I think Metamorpho just drifted off on his own somewhere. He just bounced. And Mr. Terrific offered to stay behind to look at the hack the system or something. He was doing something with the system.
He was trying to shut down the bridgeway because you can't just leave that open, he said, for some physical reason.
Yeah. And then we find out that Jimmy Olsen's leak is Luthor's girl.
Right.
Eve. What was her name again? Was it Eve?
It was Eve. I think it was Eve. No, she had the E earrings. Good memory, Arch. Yeah, she had the big ass earrings. Yeah.
Yeah, and what do you think about Jimmy Olsen constantly negging her and just trying to milk her for information, but he didn't.
Bro, first of all, listen, and first of all, in the text message, weird toes,
mutant toes. He called
mutant toes. Okay, CJack, think before you talk. I've dated women with some weird features, but the woman was fine. Like, if the toes was bothering you, you're being way too petty. Let's say they go over to flip-flops like this. Me personally, way too petty. But I can see why she's clingy and annoying. Bro, play it off, but give her a fair chance. And then what got me feeling kind of bad for her, I'll give you the information, Jimmy, but in exchange, let's go out this weekend. For how long? What do you mean for how long? It's just a weekend. I've suffered worse. And he was like, dang, the whole weekend? Well, fine. Maybe I won't give it to you then. You know what I mean? Come on. This is Jimmy Olsen.
But he's Jimmy Olsen. Clearly, he's got all the riz in the world. He can't be bothered.
Right. Apparently, there's a new generation Jimmy. He go out to the club and everything. Anyway.
All right. There's a lot of memes online about Jimmy and his riz, man. I can show you them later, though, man.
All right.
But, I like that whole dynamic between Jimmy and Eve. That was hilarious. And then what'd you think about Clark making it back to Jonathan and Martha Kent's place, and he's holed up in his old childhood bedroom, and you see the Mighty Crabjoys, the posters. Yep. So that comes
back. Yeah, that comes back to my scene I was telling you about. Lois needed to see Clark Kent / Superman, who he is. That bedroom gave her enough story. Like, you know what? I judged you harshly. Because, like you said before earlier in the video, like, dude, I knew this wouldn't go to work. Some kind of female thing to say. Sorry, guys, but, when you guys are in your feelings, that's what happens. And then she was in the room like, oh, wow. Okay, for one, he was right about this band, but it represented everything, including his parents. Like, they're so sweet. Like, the dad was like, oh, don't let him fool you. He's tough as nails, but he's all big mush when it comes to Clark. Because he still had those green veins from the kryptonite poisoning.
Yeah.
And this guy is strong enough literally to move a moon. And yet he's vulnerable, and these parents took care of him, and it gave Lois a perspective.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
Yeah, so I like that whole scene. That was very touching, and he's just out eating cereal or something, whatever.
Yeah.
I forget what it was, and then Crypto's messing with the cows. And
Crypto was good comedy relief. Crypto, I was like, why is Crypto in the film? I'm like, you know what? It happened in the comics. Maybe he's going somewhere with it. And technically, the whole film, if you want to be technical, is basically around the Justice Society era of the comic, Silver Age of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I like that it was cute that as soon as he woke up, Crypto was laying right on him, just staring at him.
Precious.
Yeah. Makes me precious about myself too. He's adorable. And I like the talk between Jonathan Kent and Clark Kent. and that whole exchange. And he said, "I can never be more proud of you." I was like, "Oh my god, this is melting my heart." Feelings.
Gunn knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
Gunn has this ability to balance between absurd, nerdy humor and then human-like moments. He knows how to have that odd balance between like moments like that. So he has a knack for that. Mm-hmm. And then what else? Oh yeah, and then the battle between Oh yeah. Before I get ahead of myself, Lex Luthor finds out that Superman escaped, and now he's all pissed off, and he's just throwing a temper tantrum, and he disses Eve. He's throwing stuff at Eve, and now of course she's all upset.
Before you continue, this man is the ultimate jerk. He knocks down a bunch of pens. Remember this scene? He's pick that up, and his minions can't. Now pick it up again. That's so true. That's something the original Gene Hackman Lex would do.
Yeah, and then he threw something at Eve. Eve wasn't even doing nothing. She was just standing there. She just happened to be in his line of sight, and he just like.
Sorry, I'm sorry, man. That was funny as hell to me. It really genuinely is. You know what? I'm just Eve. You know what I'm saying? Just because he could, like a toddler.
And she didn't even do nothing. It was just like. She just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And then she called Jimmy upset and saying, "Hey, if I give you this, does this mean we get to go out during the weekend?" And he's like, "The whole weekend?
What's there to think about?"
I'm like, dude, come on, man. You're killing me.
Listen, I understand if he was my boy Bruce Wayne. You know, the guy, he can get any woman. In the comics, come on, this is Jimmy Olsen. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what are you doing?
Jimmy Olsen apparently got Riz. Maybe he could teach Bruce some lessons. Who knows?
Apparently. But, shoot.
But but I saw a meme where they were playing area codes from Ludacris and Nate Dogg.
Yeah.
That's one of the memes. Like, it shows a picture of Jimmy Olsen just sitting there chilling. And the background's like, "I got host. I got host." And it's just Jimmy Olsen like, yeah.
Freaking Jimmy.
Oh yeah, but back to that. So
the casting was perfect, by the way.
In the conflict between what was it called? What's that country called again?
Just put Casnia, but it's supposed to be Casnia. I swear to God.
It's called wait a minute, I got it right here. Hold on.
Like Pateria? No, I'm joking.
Baravia and Geronport.
Yeah.
So that whole thing is about to start kicking up again. But however, before that happens, Lex Luthor opens up the pocket universe and causes that rift, remember? On purpose, because his idea was, okay, we need to draw Superman out. And even his own people are like, "Yo, Lex, what are you doing? This is crazy." And he said, "I know what to do." And then Mr. Terrific's like, can't do nothing. He sees it happening in real time. He can't stop it. And then I thought it was touching when they were trying to summon Superman through the news about getting hurt and getting to Geronport or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that little kid's holding up the flag like, Superman. I'm like, oh.
Right. And he knew rest time is over. It's time to go back. And I love how he needs to reclug solar energy. It's true. He does. He needs the solar energy back. Even in the prison bar cell. Remember when Metamorpho turned off to kryptonite? He's like, "Dude, why are you still ugly?" He's one to talk. Yeah. And he was like, "I need a yellow sunlight. I may be getting better, but I need yellow sunlight to restore my power." And the rest of you already know. But anyway.
Yeah, but I like how they were summoning Superman back, and you can hear the music start to kick up in the background. You see hot girl coming out the bathroom, Metamorphos with his wifey on the couch, and see Guy Gardner at the bar eating some cereal, and you're just like, man, that bold haircut, man, I just can't even.
Yeah, it's that part. Oh, that's what Lois said. Wait, that's what Lois said before. She's like, "You guys are gonna come with me, really?" Back at the Justice Gang. You know what? What did he say? What did she say?
You know what? Should have took a bow against that haircut.
It's a running gag, even in the comics. Who told him that was still in style? Anyway.
But I liked Superman was getting ready to head out there, but Mr. Terrific intercepts him with one of his spheres, and he said, "No, you need to come to New York first, or there ain't gonna be nothing else." Because he explained the whole rift thing to him, and I like how they're out there. Mr. Terrific's trying to do what he can, and then they get out there, and as that buildings are starting to crumble, you see Superman stopping one from falling on that lady in the car, and I love that shot of him in the background coming from the ashes. That was dope.
That was dope.
Yeah, I like that. And then Ultraman and the Engineer started attacking them. And then that's when we see the fight out in the football field. And Superman's still trying to reason with the Engineer. I was like, hey, it's not too late for you, yada, 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 yada. Boom. And then he's fighting Ultraman. And then that's when the Engineer tries to release those nanobites in his lungs. And
clever plan. You know what's really clever about Lex? He was literally programming A14, B42. Like he mastered all. Right. He mastered all Superman's combos because Superman's more of a brawler. He doesn't have a fighting technique really, and it works. Anyway.
Yeah, but remember those nanobites started getting in the system. He had to fly up to get out of them, and then come crashing down again, just to get him out of his system.
But let me ask you this: where do you think he was going? Did you think he was going to crash down, or take him to the sun?
I didn't know what he was doing. My thought was, okay, maybe he's flying up to like freeze out the nanobots. Maybe the air out of space was
or make it pass out. Right.
Maybe the nanobots would have crashed out in outer space or something like that. I think that's what he was trying to do.
It worked for Stark. Iron Man 1.
Yeah, and then it wasn't until he crashed back down that he was able to finally get it out of the system. And I don't remember seeing nothing like the Engineer after that.
She was unconscious. She couldn't survive the fall.
Yeah. But my whole thing was, she was still alive, but she wasn't. She was unconscious. But do we see her again after that though? I don't remember.
I don't think she got back up again. No.
Because I was thinking about that the first time I saw the movie. I was like, wait a minute, do we ever see the Engineer again? And then I tried, and then when I saw it yesterday, I was trying to remember. I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember seeing the Engineer since that.
Because she still has, even though her body, she sacrificed her body to be a literal walking nanobot. If she's tangible enough human-wise, she can still be out cold. But no, honestly, to answer your question, and I just saw it yesterday. It's fresh in my head. No.
Yeah, I was trying to remember that, but then we see Superman and Ultraman are going at it. They're fighting. That's when we get the reveal that Ultraman is just essentially a clone of Superman. Luthor just got a strand of his hair from a previous fight, cloned him from that, and then he was controlling Ultraman through those drones. Through those
Lex's artificial T-spheres, so to speak.
Yeah. So his own version of the T-spheres. So that's how he was able to see Superman and anticipate his moves and use those combos and all that stuff. So even Lex, what I liked about Lex is he's honest about his envy. He said it's a calling, and it just reminds you being here just reminds us just how weak we are. And I got to take you down because you're a threat.
There's a lot of philosophical idealism in this movie, and I love it on both ends.
Yeah. And this is why I think Nicholas Hoult is one of the standout performances of the movie, because he's just the way he was ranting about, yes, I'm envious. Yes, I'm scared. But I feel like it's necessary because you are too dangerous. Basically.
Yeah, because literally what he says was the common man does not stand a chance against you. It's kind of X-Men-esque, but it's true. And, people fear what they don't understand.
Well, if you think about it, Lex Luthor is not that far removed from Batman.
No. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah, because Batman is paranoid too. Yeah. So what would you say, not to get too sidetracked, what would you say the differences are between Bruce Wayne, Batman, and Lex Luthor? What makes them slightly different? Well, before you answer, let me just say this. Bruce Wayne is still heroic. He still doesn't want to take lives, whereas Lex Luthor is willing to compromise and take lives.
I'll give you a handicap. I'll take that out of the equation. That's obvious. All right. The difference between the two is the fact that they're both willing to get the job done. They're both willing to commit to their cause. Bruce, despite his means, he still believes that he's doing good for a reason. He believes it's good for a reason.
That's the thing. I would say Lex Luthor, in his mind, thinks he's doing good.
Yeah. You know what? There isn't any. There isn't any besides their origin story.
Yeah, you're right. The origin story. The difference is Lex Luthor is okay with collateral damage, whereas Bruce Wayne isn't.
No, right.
Bruce Wayne has a no-kill policy, whereas, as we saw earlier, Lex Luthor had no problem playing Russian roulette with that guy, with the falafel guy.
Oh, dude, by any means necessary. Bruce has his problems. He does, and I love Batman, but he does. Mm-hmm. Bruce has his problems, but if he can help it, he will not sacrifice a life. Like they're just pawns. They mean nothing to him. It's like me throwing this remote right now. It means nothing to him.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne wouldn't get that. I think that's the fundamental difference between Lex Luthor and Bruce Wayne. But the one thing they do have in common is they're paranoid and they're very wary of Superman.
And always have a plan B.
Yeah.
Between the two of them. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I would say to that. But I like that whole argument, the fight scene between them. And then and Lex Luthor said brain always beats brawn, but then Superman flips his own logic on him by getting Crypto to take out the drones.
Literally.
Yeah.
He didn't X-Factor the drones. And there was like 6 drones I counted, and he took them all out. And then what? I mean, Ultraman had no recourse, right? No training whatsoever. He always relied on Lex, which was a huge problem. He should have came up with his own some kind of. If Lex was smart as he thought he was, he shouldn't have. But he can't do that. He doesn't trust anybody else to get the job done unless it's himself. Right. And that's why you always lose. Even Superman said that. He's like, unlike you, Lex, I'm going to win this. Why so? I know every one of your moves. I know this, this, and this. Yeah, but you don't have friends like me. And Guy Gardner, that was a good moment because Superman, even he can't be 2 places at once. Dealing with Ultraman will clear across the globe. Yeah. The Justice Gang was handling the area.
Duranport, whatever it's called.
Duranport. And that's when we saw the scene with the tanks being thrown up and they're doing their part.
Yeah. And I like the whole middle finger constructs too. That's another James Gunn thing.
Another James Gunn thing, and that's what Guy Gardner would do. He was like, okay, whatever, with his personal hand, but then the constructs.
I liked how he protected the kid, and he said, "You're in luck, kid. You just got an upgrade." I was like,
such a Gardner said. That's a Gardner thing. Yeah,
that's a Guy Gardner thing to do.
Yeah,
and then I like that whole thing, and they so it was Guy Gardner, hot girl, and she killed the Baravian president.
You're a good guy. You won't kill me. I'm not Superman.
I was like,
it's true. Right. Even Metamorpho came back, started smashing things. Yeah,
and then so they took care of that while Superman was taking care of this. And then I like the whole thing. There's a whole nother meme about Mr. Terrific. Remember, Mr. Terrific lost his floating chair thingy or whatever he was on, and he had to rely on Crypto to get to the Lex Corp.
That was funny. Yeah.
There's a meme about that, mind you. I saw.
Oh Lord, yeah, send me that.
So, it's called when you go somewhere when your white friend takes you somewhere you don't want to.
I'm done. You need a ride.
Right. White Bessie takes you somewhere you don't want to. Superman flying, and then it shows Mr. Terrific hanging on to Crypto.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. I gotta check that out.
But yeah, so Lex finally knows all right, let's break camp, let's go in this pocket universe. But before he can get there, he sees Superman coming. He's like, oh crap. But Superman intercepts him just in time.
Because yes, Lex was like this. You know what? It's okay. We'll set up shop. I don't need this. Watch. You're Superman. Oh crap. No.
Oh.
Yeah.
But what do you think of that whole speech of Superman telling Lex, like, that's where you've always been wrong about me, Lex? I said, I'm just as human as you. I get scared. I put one foot in front of the other.
You know what? To answer your question, I'll answer the question with a statement. The media was talking about they made Superman weaker in this film. He started off weaker. It's in the comics. I don't know why. But the point is, it gives him character. You know what, Lex? You always say I'm an alien. I'm not alien. I'm no different from you. I put one foot right in front of the other, just like everybody else. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of hurting somebody. I have fear too. That's a human trait. Doesn't that count me for being human? And Lex, stubborn as he was, couldn't answer that. And then the media turned against him, which that was poetic.
Well, that's because Lois and them leaked what he was doing.
Yeah,
he was trying to cut a side deal and trying to own a country, trying to get his own country. And he was supplying the Boremians, remember?
Yeah, and piggybacking on that. And Unlimited, even you must have watched this. And when he held the question, sidebar, he was like, that's right, conspiracy buff. I didn't want to become president of the United States. I ran a campaign just to piss Superman off. He said, do you have any idea how much power I would give up being president? Technically being Lex. Relative is, he started a war and saying he wanted Lois or someone down the road to find out he wanted to take over the country, become a king. Remember, it was all subterfuge. He didn't care about none of it. That's another difference between Batman and Lex Luthor. His petty grudge against Superman. That's all this was. He built billions of dollars just to piss him off. Yeah.
Well, here's the hard part about it is it's not like Superman did anything to Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is just in a one-sided war against Superman.
For being human, or for in his mind, like you said, you were right. Well, the common person doesn't stand a chance against you, and he's not wrong. It's just the way he cares about it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I liked how Lex Luthor is trying to go off on Superman, but before he can finish his point, Crypto intervenes and starts beating. That's the new Hulk and Loki.
Yeah, yes, it is. Yes, equivalent. And the whole theater, when I watched the watch, he's like, "Good boy, good boy." He's like, "You know what?"
Superman was like, "Yo, Crypto, chill, put him down."
Because Lex was making a point. I forgot what the point was. No,
he was in the middle of saying something. He was in Superman's face, and he was just like,
"You think this is over? You think we're done here? I will get out of this situation." And
and before he could finish what he was saying, Crypto just jumps in. Starts making short work out of him. I think he broke his arm too.
He did, yeah. He snapped him. He was like, "Crypto, come on, dude. I got this.
Crypto, it's cool. Crypto, it's cool, baby. It's cool.
It's cool, baby. He already lost, right?"
Yeah. And then that's when Mr. Terrific stopped the ref, and I can't get this out of my head. I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific.
Right? Yeah. See that part? I don't mind it because it's James.
Cheesy as that is now, like on paper, it sounds cheesy as hell.
Yeah,
I kept saying that all yesterday to my sister. Like, just out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't mind because it's James Gunn. Anybody else like, dude, why are you black talking in Mr. Terrific? Like, hey, I got this. I'm Mr. Terrific, and he does. He does. It's in the name. So
yeah. So I like that whole thing, and then so they saved the day. And this is why I think David Cornsweet is a great Superman, because when Lex Luthor realizes he's cooked and he has no recourse no more because he's been exposed, and he's just looking at Superman like,
yep.
And Superman's just sitting there like,
that's what he does. Right. He was like, dude, just look at you. Superman didn't have to say anything. He just look at you.
He just like, just take the L.
Just take the L. You know that meme going around like this with people like this? Pathetic. Because that's what Superman was doing.
Yeah, that's what Superman's doing. I was like, okay, this is where David Cornsweet convinced me he was Superman. Not to say that he didn't do good earlier, but this solidified him in my eyes. That's okay, this is our new Superman right here.
Cherry on the cake.
Yeah, no disrespect to Henry Cavill or anybody else.
Right.
Yeah. I was like, okay. And then afterwards, everything's saved, everything's restored. And then all the people from the Pocket Universe are saved and rescued. And all the previous girlfriends that Lex had pent up in there, they get rescued.
Parole.
And Eve runs up on Jimmy Olsen like, "Oh my God, we could be together forever." And Jimmy's just like, "Oh God, what have I got myself
into? Is it really that bad, Jimmy?" Not you know what I mean, Jimmy. And she was hilarious. She's like, "Oh my God," and she's this Amazon, and she wrapped her legs around like an octopus.
Yeah. And Jimmy's just like, "Oh my God, what did I get myself into?"
He was like, there. Look at my eyes. Like whatever, bro.
He's just like, okay, if you say so.
One dude in the seat next to me in the theater said, if you call that an L, I'll take it any day. And he's not wrong.
Yeah. And then, of course, I like the whole sweet moment between Superman and Lois, and Perry White calls it out. He's like, how long have they been together? And Jimmy Olsen still got the girl wrapped up behind him. I think 3 months now.
Fooling nobody, right?
Yeah. So I like towards the end we get a brief glimpse of Supergirl. And she's so it turns out the whole crypto thing was a foster situation. It's actually Supergirl's dog, and she was going to pick him up. She was drunk from another planet,
literally.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see how Supergirl is going to turn out next year. So
I approve, because they didn't make her such a. Here's the thing: I've seen versions of Superman, but nobody's really did a version of Supergirl, which is not the
outside of Helen Slater. Remember
the legend in the '80s? Yeah. Which is cool. I still approve, but they always made her a Girl Scout. Like this Supergirl was like, "What up, cousin? You dumb, you know what? Whatever. Come here, boy." And then Crypto got some strength, dude. She was like laughing and just cracking the concrete down. I'm like, dude.
Oh, yeah. And that was the whole thing. And I liked towards the end, it was like, and they were playing that Iggy Pop song, "I'm a Punk Rocker, Yes I Am."
That's pretty badass.
And he's just soaking in the sun again, recouping. And I'm glad they got the robots fixed up from the attack earlier.
Huge tidbit. Remember in the beginning of the film, like, oh, you suffered another defeat. Play some reels of his parents while he soaks up radiation. It makes him feel better. It was his natural parents. At the end of the movie, it was his birth parents. I like that.
Oh, good point. Good point. I didn't think about that. Good point.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? So that was pretty much the end. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I said birth. I meant Earth parents. To correct myself. Earth.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
And what do you think of the mid-credit scene of him and Crypto just looking at the plane from outer space? That was cool.
Dude, the dog's cute. Like, I made a post on my Facebook that said, sidebar, that said, the Fantastic Four, Franklin Richards is the cutest baby ever. The dog is the cutest dog ever. So they're up there. I love that dog. And I love that scene. He was like this. You know, Crypto on the moon. You're like, you know, Crypto, you're a good boy.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think that last scene with Mr. Fantastic and Superman looking at the building, and Superman's like looking how it's like off a little bit?
I didn't see that coming. I was like, oh, snap, crackle. I was like, okay, needed that. That was nice. That was very nice.
But yeah, overall, so out of a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate this movie like an 8.5 out of 10.
It is. It's a refreshing Gunn approach. It was a little silly, but it was needed to get away from the whole Snyder dark thing. I can't believe I'm saying this because the Snyder cut and everything did work, but people need to let that die. And we're in a whole new era, a whole new generation.
It had its time.
Agreed.
I know this is a novel concept for the Snyder, what's the word for the Snyder Bros?
Mm-hmm.
God forbid you like both. It's okay to like Snyder and what he did, but he could.
I agree
too. Why does it have to be one or the other? That's my thing.
Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel, DC. Who knows?
God forbid you like both. Why is that?
Right.
Why does it always have to be one or the other? I'm down with both.
Yeah, there's a meme out there. Why not both? And I honestly hope Gunn, to prove a point, I hope Gunn does try to get a jump start restarting this reboot again. Except the formula was done right by him. I love this. It was a live action version of an animated DC Justice League film. If you guys know anything, except for the last, I would say 2 years so far, since they left the last original 52 universe, all those Justice League films, all of them were fire. In fact, they were superior to anything Marvel had, animation-wise, in my opinion. But Gunn brought that same energy to live action. I approve. I
just hope the DCU is they can continue this momentum. James Gunn can't do it all by himself. As good as he is, he has to maybe his talent now is having to find great writers, other great directors, other great storytellers to tell these stories just as good or if not better than him. So we got we know we got Supergirl coming out next summer. We got the Lantern series coming at some point next year. I don't know when exactly.
On Max, right?
Yeah. So of course, Peacemaker season 2 is dropping next month. So
how'd that dance go? I can't wait, man. Yeah.
So we got Peacemaker season 2. We got Lanterns. We got Supergirl. I remember hearing something about a Booster Gold series in development at some point.
My other YouTuber, Comics and Cosmetics, shout out. Yes, they confirmed there's a Booster Gold in the works, but they're trying to figure out whether it's going to be on Max or they're going to do a live action. But they have the script down. So it is out there. They just don't know where to.
I know they're going to do something with Wonder Woman. I think, as far as I know, Wonder Woman is still in development, but I thought they were going to do a Themyscira series first, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, some Themyscira series, independent series, just to build the hype to that, and then the expand the universe, basically expand the universe. Because since Diana was technically the flagship that saved the Snyderverse, they're repeating that same formula, which I approve of.
So the question still remains is what's going to become of Wonder Woman? As far as the new casting, what's going to become of the new DCU Batman, Brave and the Bold? What's how far are they in the development with that? I'm not clear on that part.
I do. Scripts written, cast unknown. concepts are there, but they approved. Warner Brothers finally got up their duff and like, you know what, dude, we need to show some guts here. Playing it safe is not. That's always been their problem because that's why DC. That's why Marvel's been whooping them. Well, at least Phase 4 anyway.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see where this goes. You know, I wish James Gunn the best. You know, as of right now, as of today, I checked boxofficemojo.com. Right now, Superman is sitting at $500 million in the box office so far, 502 million to be exact.
Yeah. Their opening weekends are equal, practically 27 million. Probably because obviously Superman came out before Fantastic Four. In my opinion,
217 million.
That's what it was. 217 million to 207. It's right.
Hold on. So yeah. Superman was 217 globally the first weekend,
right? And
Fantastic Four, to my understanding, is 218 million so far.
So barely, not even a million. About a million behind.
A little million difference right there. So
yeah,
I mean,
only because of weekend drop, in my opinion, only because of weekend difference. Whoever went first is going to suffer second, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I mean, I wish them all the best. I mean, we'll talk about Fantastic Four later. I don't want to get too sidetracked on that.
Sure.
But I hope. I mean, my prediction is I'm not sure whether or not this will crack $1 billion, but it'll get pretty damn close. I would imagine after it's all said and done, it may land somewhere between 800 to 900 something odd million.
It'll knock on the door, but I don't see $1 billion. But if it does, hey, James Gunn has a formula here. I'm nudging DC. What are y'all doing? I mean, yeah. So.
But I think I don't know what Marvel's plans are to this day. Marvel, if Fantastic Four is any indication, I was saying that the DCU has a chance to outshine Marvel if they can play.
They do. They have the advantage right now because the MCU's in an unrest with what's in there? Foggy retiring. You know,
I thought yeah. So So what? So from a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm up there with an 8, a solid 8. I honestly like it. Okay. I'm a harsh critic, if you guys know me by now. I loved it. It was a little silly, but it worked because it's Gunn, man. It's like having Samuel Jackson in a movie. I'll allow it because of Samuel Jackson. It's Gunn. I'm a fan. Yeah. But taking my bias out of it, it was well written. The pace wasn't slow. He has a good roller coaster balance on how to make a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I'm just curious to see what the other next DCU projects are going to look like, how they'll translate, because we can't rely on just James Gunn to do any and everything. Man. Now, mind you, he will overlook everything. He may do some script doctoring,
but not doing all the work himself, is what you're saying.
He can't do all the work himself.
No, I agree.
I like him. People that he's hiring on have to come through too. So I'm definitely going to check out Supergirl when it drops. I'm going to be checking out Lanterns. Of course, I'm going to check out Peacemaker season 2 and all that stuff. So I just
real quick, what you're really telling me is, okay, Feige has, what's the guy who did The Mandalorian?
Pedro Pascal?
No, the director-wise. Dave
Filoni?
Dave Filoni. You know what I'm saying? Feige has Dave Filoni. You know, he has a crew. It's not just him. That's what Gunn needs. I think you're onto something. Gunn needs support.
And I think he's got that too. It's just he just needs to consolidate them better. And then we still got the whole Elseworlds Robert Pattinson Batman thing that still has to be developed, but that has nothing to do with the DCU per se.
But what I do like, though, you're onto something though. What I do like is that Gunn is looking into characters that haven't been on screen at all. I have never seen outside of what was that? Well, Black Adam, that was kind of a one-hit stand, whatever that. But I've never seen Mr. Terrific on screen. Never seen Guy Gardner on screen because everybody was like afraid.
If I remember right, I don't think we've seen Hawkgirl on screen. If I'm not mistaken.
If you don't count Black Adam, no, those three, and he did it on purpose, I think, to see how the audience would react to those three. Those are literally C-lister, or not even C-lister. They're about B-lister. Yeah, those are B-lister members of the Justice League. Yeah,
and if I'm not mistaken, is he doing something with Mr. Miracle too?
Yes, it's animated. That's on Max too. It's already coming out. I posted about it actually on CJ's Random on Facebook. But okay, I posted about it on it's a new series coming out in December or something. And I don't know nothing about Mr. Miracle except that he was created by Jack Kirby by the New Gods.
Okay, we'll see how that looks. So This has got me curious though. So I love this movie, and I hope to see some more wins from the DCU. Hopefully, this is not just an anomaly. Hopefully, the DCU continues to start off strong. So, people in the comments, let us know what you think, what you thought. What would you rate Superman? Did you like it? Did you dislike it?
Did we cover everything?
Yeah. So let me know what you thought. Put your comments below, and we will see you later.
And sorry for the mess, guys. I've just moved in. All right. Thanks for having me, Arch.
Later.